Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We're out here in just the beautiful mountains of Utah here in the snow. A little bit different trip than last time. But right now we're racing the sun to get our stuff packed up and out on the trail. So I thought I'd give you a brief understanding of what we're bringing with us. And yeah, I'll show you what I'm packing. So we've got our food bag with our food. We're only going to be out here about just a single night and then a little bit tomorrow. So we've got our food. This is a rain poncho to put underneath us. We've got our stove. We'll put that next to the food. Our water. As I pack this, I want it to be even. So I'm putting food on one side, water on the other to kind of keep the sled even. Cooking pot here behind. Next we've got our tarp. That's what we'll sleep under. Our extra clothes for sleeping. We're not sure quite what the weather's going to do, so we brought some wool blankets along to help insulate with our sleeping bags. So we've got 2 of those. We've also got 2 sleeping bags. These are nice 30-degree comfort rating. We'll see if that's enough for tonight. But like I said, that's why we brought the wool blankets. With the wool blankets, we should be good. All right. Next, I'm gonna put in our saw. We brought a saw so we can process wood. There's a lot more pine trees out here, so it takes a lot more wood processing than the desert does. Then lastly, we're gonna put in our foam pads. Those will add insulation for us. We've got 2 of the Nemo orange pads, plus 1 blue pad. And lastly, an air mattress. And that's what we'll be sharing for the 2 of us. Both ways.
That's what I did too.
Kind of looks like they all go up in that way. Can I even follow that? I think this will work. All right. So right here is where we're gonna sleep. Pulled the sled up. But what I'm seeing now is there's a lot of duff here, which would be nice to sleep on, but there's all these sticks in here. So I think that would be not worth it for this trip, since we've got enough stuff to sleep on. So what I think we're gonna do is this tree behind it, over here. I think we're just gonna come over here there's still some sticks here and a lot less duff, but I think we can clear it out easier. So we're gonna pull this out to create our tension, but the snow's gonna keep any stakes from gripping very well. So I'm gonna grab a stick. You don't need anything too crazy long. You just need enough length that the snow can grab it. And you can do this with stakes too. The risk you run with stakes is you can lose your stake in the snow, and then it's gonna be difficult to find it. The knot that I use on this is it's called a clove hitch. So you go over the top, wrap it around, and then you're gonna go, so now you've got this X here, and you're just gonna take this and go through that X. So I like to pull it apart. If I've got a bunch of rope like this to go through, you can pull it apart, shove that rope through. And then now you've got your clove hitch. And the nice thing about this is a clove hitch is a constrictor type knot. So I can really crank this and tighten it in, and it's nice and tight there. So now all of the force is coming through the rope and not even the stick. So you can use a small stick for this, or a thin stick. You don't have to use something this big. We're gonna pull it out tight, just like we normally would. And now we're just gonna shove it in the snow. So you can kind of see here, now this is acting as an anchor against our tarp. So once we get it in the snow, and I'm gonna step on it to really shove it in there. Now you can see the tarp is nice and tight, and we can cover over it with snow. The snow's nice and crusty, so I don't know that it's gonna hold the best, but if I pack it in there, that should work. I don't think that's gonna come out tonight, so we'll do the same thing on that other corner, and we should be good. Karin dug this nice place for us to make our fire. The reason we did this, you can see there's quite a bit of snow. There's about 2 wide hands here of snow that we dug under. So if we did our fire right here, it would have just sunk down and the snow would have put it out. So while we do have wet soil here, we can remedy that. So I went over and I got some of this bark from the some dead aspens near us. And we're just gonna lay this bark down. It kind of creates a barrier from the ground. Here's our stove. So this is what's gonna go and set right on top of that. But what I wanna do to prepare this, now that we've got it together, it's got a spot to slide sticks into, and then, but to prepare it, I'm gonna stab sticks on top of it. I want a bunch of these thin, smaller than pencil width ones in there. I'm gonna start with those, and then I can move to even pencil width. And all you do is you just shove them in the top. You don't need a ton of space between them. You're mostly just shoving sticks in at this point. And the denser it is, the longer that fire will last. This is aspen, and aspen's great for making feather sticks. So you can see this is like textbook feather sticks right here. This is nice. What makes this work is you're actually using the same piece of grain the whole way. We're starting to get thicker ones, so I'm gonna come here on the side, thin them out a little bit, change my knife angle, and see what we can do. Now I want a lot of these. I want different sizes. I want as thin as I can, as much as possible, but these thicker sizes are still very usable. What we really want is the stuff on the inside. We're gonna work our way there. So we can carve these nice curls. Look at those. Those are great. The nice thing about the ferro rod, especially in the snow like this, is even if it gets wet, it's still gonna shower sparks. So I can literally stick it in the snow, pull it out. You can see the snow sticking to it. And all I've got to do is wipe it off. And now it's back to showering sparks. Oh, man. There we go. A little bit of flame there. These little twigs work great. I'm just gonna hold it for a bit, and that's gonna allow it to catch without smothering. And now we're starting to get flame come up through it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for it to come up and start to come up through the top. So I'm just looking down in there, and there we go. Oh, that looks so good. So we're having spicy beef and potato with a lot of rice. I may have made extra rice, but how is it?
It's good.
All right, I gotta get a bite of this. I just got rice and potato on that one. Let's get a little beef. That's pretty good. It is so nice and warm. You can see the steam coming out of our mouths and off the bowl. But yeah, that's actually really good. It said it was spicy, and I'm really not getting any spice.
It's fairly diluted with rice, though.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah, so it might be actually spicy. We went a little bit bougie today, since we're just doing an overnighter and we're pulling a sled, so we don't have to carry it on our backs. I brought cans, so a little extra heavy. I don't usually take cans backpacking. Sometimes I will, just because I make easy, convenient meals like this, and all you have to do is warm them up. I really like I think they're like the Hearty Campbell's soups. But for car camping, for something where you're pulling a sled, if you're to do horseback, something like that, it's hard to beat just the ease of some minute rice and Campbell's soup. So, yeah, we're gonna chow down on this and enjoy it. We're about to let Karin join in the fun of the Ghanaian chocolate. So, if you didn't see my last video, go look for that shout out. Ghanaian chocolate's pretty great. So, we're eating the same 80% dark. Really good stuff.
Cheers.
It's a little extra crunchy with the cold. But it's really good. So, one of the reasons I like eating dark chocolate specifically when I'm winter camping is chocolate does a great job of getting your blood flowing faster. It gives a boost of energy and sugar. And even one of my Boy Scout books growing up, it recommended it for people that were going into hypothermia. You give them some chocolate, and then you do other procedures to warm them up. That's a very small part of that. There's still many more important things. You can't just give someone chocolate. But I like it as a dessert when it's cold outside, just because it gives that extra boost and allows me to start my night a little bit warmer.
Another reason to eat chocolate.
We'll see y'all in the morning. Good night. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. We slept in a little bit. It's a little bit sunnier than I normally get up. I did not want to leave the sleeping bag. It's nice and warm. So, yeah. Pretty good night.
Got a little bit of grass.
Got grass on my face. Yeah, it's pretty good. A little chilly at times, especially I had to get up at night to use the restroom, and that was cold. I didn't want to do that. But other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I was warm.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So what we're doing here is we're trying to cook bread. It was burning on the bottom of our pan. So we put our pan down where our little cooker was sitting, and then we poured the coals on top. So it'll cook a little bit from the bottom, but mostly be cooking from the top, and hopefully that'll make it more of a bread. Mmm. Yeah, that's good. Can be zen out here.
You can see that the stakes that we put in last night are still holding nice and tight.
All right. Karin and I are all packed up right here, getting ready to go. She's got her knife on her chest there, just a neck knife. I've got mine tucked in, and then yeah, she's got her fanny pack as well. Just has some extra emergency gear if we were to be separated from this pack thing, or this sled. That's what it's called. And then I've got, I don't know if you can see that, I've got my fanny pack as well. I'll just swing it around. So there's mine. Fanny pack gang, like we're back in the 90s. But they're nice and they're very convenient. And they ride very well. So keeps our emergency gear. We're gonna throw on our snowshoes right here and get to going. Right here we've got an aspen. As nature walks would say, you can tell because of the way it is. But really the easiest ways to tell that it's an aspen is this white bark in an alpine area. And then you've got where the branches used to be, you've got these almost eye-looking things. So it looks like it's looking at you. And they'll drop their branches and leave those eyes behind. But the reason we like it today is we can rub our hands on the bark. You can see all that white on there. And that white makes a good sunscreen. So when we're out here and the snow shining on us, we can put that on our cheeks and our nose. And it might give us a little bit of a whiter complexion, but it'll also keep us having a whiter complexion so we won't get burned and turn pink and red. I gotta take good care of her. Can't let her cheeks get burned. So update on the Aspen sunscreen. It maybe is SPF 20, but yeah, I either lather it on thick or become a lobster like us.
Indeed.
Yikes. Harness me up.
Harness. Giddy up.
A lot of survival manuals actually say not to eat snow. But Morris Kahinsky, the most knowledgeable survival expert on the boreal forest, and he actually has a really good video on snow. So if you are curious more of the science and want to understand more about it, that's probably a better video to watch. But what he talks about in that video is you can take a bit of snow and you can actually melt it in your mouth. The amount of energy it takes to melt a liter of snow into water is about equivalent to eating a slice of dense bread, something like pound cake. And what he said is the main thing you want to focus on is not letting it touch your lips and taking small enough pieces. Been kind of experimenting with it today because it's not something I have a lot of experience with. And I found that about jawbreaker size pellets work best. I've tried some bigger ones. It's just way too cold. It freezes my mouth and it's not the move. But these size melt really quick. You can crunch them up a little bit. And he says that that's enough to hydrate you. Now, obviously, every kid knows you don't eat yellow snow. So be smart about where you're getting it. Don't get it right off your footpath. Try to get it in a place that looks cleaner. And every snow is going to have a little bit of particulates in it. The farther you go out, the better the snow will be. The closer you are to a city, especially a city with a lot of smog, like Salt Lake or LA or San Francisco, you're going to have more particulates in the snow. And sometimes it's not even clean enough to eat. But where I'm out here, I think it should be good enough. Oh, it's been a good trip. A lot of fun. Yeah, I think my favorite part was probably riding the sled down the hills. That was so much fun.
That was fun.
We had a lot of fun having this sled. I definitely, like, if you ever do an adventure like this, the sled's a game changer. So much easier than hauling a backpack, and where our backs aren't as sweaty, which is really nice. If you do it, bring some gear on you though. Make sure you've got enough emergency gear that you could stay the night if you had to. But yeah, then you can load up your sled with all the comfortable things and just enjoy it. It was a great, comfortable night. So, yeah, thanks for joining us on this adventure. And now it's your turn. Go get comfy outside.